Hello, my friends and fays. I'm Feather. This is the Fae Movement. Welcome to day one of the Fae Movement Field Guide. So, a couple things before we get started. What is the Fae Movement? It literally is what it sounds like. It is a movement, it is a revolution for us to just be our natural selves. I feel very, very connected to the lore of fairies, and I truly believe that all of the creatures in the forest, all the little bugs, all the little mushrooms and moss and everything, they're all fairies in general. So I think of it in this very actual, grounded way. I do believe that every little bug, insect, spider, centipede, everything is fae, because they're all working towards the same goal. They're all taking care of the earth. It's the ecosystem. It's everything, you guys. So I think in this world where a lot of things have pulled us away from connection to ourselves, understanding of ourselves and what we really want, what we like, what makes us feel good. And it takes a little bit more effort now. And I think it's really important to come back to ourselves, because the basis of everything is connection. The basis of everything. Underneath me, there is mycelium, there's roots, there's all these trees are connecting and giving and taking nutrients from each other. Oh, and we got a little sun ray coming in. And so I made this little 7-day field guide. It's really simple. Honestly, I wanted to make it forever, and I kind of started it multiple times, but it never came fully to fruition because I was just overthinking it. I was overanalyzing it. I was trying to make it really long. I was just thinking way too much about it. And then I got really inspired, and I was like, I'm going to finally do this. I'm going to finally do this. And I did it, and now it's in my hands. And I'm not currently selling physical copies, but you can get this digitally for free. You can print it out if you want to at your local library for free. You may have to pay for color if you want it to be this cute. But I actually have been using my own notebook along with this. Wow, that is bright. Ah! I have been using my own notebook. And then that way I can gift this out if I want to. Or I can go back through it and see what I wrote the last time and use this tool again. Each day has an opening ritual that's kind of inviting you to get up and move your body. I utilized very beginner level somatic practices to just get you to kind of be in the moment and really feel your body, feel the environment around you. If you're doing this at the end of the day, it's kind of a good way to just start it. So you're not just sitting down and journaling, you're getting up and moving around, moving about, moving the energy in your body. And then sitting down and getting thoughtful about the journal prompts that I very thoughtfully implemented into this. I actually physically created this all myself. Thought up all the questions, thought up all the opening rituals. So very excited to share this. It is completely free, and I am making 7 days of long form videos to guide you through this, because I know that some people may look at it and not really have an understanding of their own self-practice. Maybe you have never even done something like this before. Maybe you've never sat quietly with yourself, or maybe you're not a dancer. And this tool is for anybody. It's for everybody, because, like I said, connection is the basis to everything. To really have a sense of self and to really feel good in this lifetime on this earth with other people, we ping off of each other. We have to interact with other people to understand ourselves more. We have to like sit with ourselves as if we would sit with a loved one to understand ourselves better. And all of the relationships around you to everything comes from that connection with yourself. And I started doing this kind of thing really early on in my life. I was the third child of a family that was already dysfunctional, like before I was even born. And I think that a lot of people's stories are similar to that, as in we've all experienced a lot of dysfunction and challenges and having to grow through that. And so I've always wanted to bring something like this to the table as a tool and be a guide in that way, be a vessel to support the collective, support whoever comes my way. And you'll see that you also have magic that is needed in this world, that people are looking for, people are wishing and praying for. And once you start connecting to yourself, connecting to your purpose, you will easily find your way with also feeding that ecosystem in this world. Let's get started. For this opening ritual, I'm just going to have you start deep breathing. Pulling air in through your nose, all the way down, allowing your belly to get big, and then your mid frame, and then your chest. And try to take one more sip. Just try to take in as much air as you can, and then slowly let it back out of your mouth. And let's do that a few more times together. Go in. And very slowly exhale. And then go in. And exhale. One more time in. And let it go very slowly. If you need to sit with your breath for a little bit longer, that's okay. You can put this on pause if you want, or you can continue on with me and just kind of start swaying your body. I don't know if you've ever found yourself doing this very naturally in moments of stress, or maybe you're just feeling a lot of joy and you're a little extra wiggly, but it's very good to be in motion. When we're in motion, things don't get stagnant and we're able to allow our energy to move. We're allowing ourselves to be natural, because we were never meant to sit at a desk and tap away on computers and be on our phones and be stagnant. So when we're not taking time in our day to get off those screens, go outside, or just sit on a mat and move around. And you don't even need to have a background in yoga. You do not need a teacher. You don't need a personal trainer. Of course, there are specific things. We're still just wiggling, so just keep moving. I started moving my hands. But I just want to share this one thing. we don't need trainers, but there are specificities to specific goals. So, if you want to get into getting real strong, getting real calisthenics, or whatever you're into, that's when you may want a trainer and it can support you. But what I'm teaching here is having a daily practice where you're opening your body, you're moving your body in ways. And the more you practice certain workouts and just naturally healthy habits, it's so easy to flow. Once you do a couple yoga classes, once you get used to having this practice of moving your body and feeling good while doing it. I just stood up, you can stand up. In my book, I think I just ask you to move around and, just kind of notice, like, I notice a lot of tension in my shoulders, so I tend to try to do more open movements in my chest and my shoulders and just kind of wave around. You don't even need to be a dancer for this. I don't even really have a dance background. I have a background of loving music, and I have a background of yoga and loving the body mechanics of moving and everything, but I even use my breath and move my hips, bend my knees. I always like to focus on the joints, rolling out my wrists, rolling out my ankles, really connecting to these parts of our bodies that most of the time we're just walking, we're just moving around. We're not even consciously thinking about how our feet feel. I'm even walking on sticks right now. So the point of this is to get accustomed to really feeling and thinking about your body mindfully. The only couple things that I would think about while moving is not overstretching, but that's also part of listening to your body. I'm not going to put my knee way out here. That doesn't feel very good. But I'm going to stay a little bit more aligned maybe in that way. Of course, everybody has different flexibilities and strengths, but I think in this practice of moving your body naturally and intuitively, it just kind of starts creating this relationship with your body that will expand into all these other areas. Because once we gain trust and understanding, like our subconscious understands, oh, she's listening to me now. Our inner child, all these parts of us that get fractured off, we can pull ourselves back together into oneness and just kind of have this practice be part of our life, part of our movement through life. I think it's very important to have this time. Wake up early in the morning or stay up a little later at night right before bed and just spin around. Turn on one song and just move for one song. I also use my voice. I will sing, and that can be part of a movement. So, if you need to continue on, you may press pause here. If not, you may take a seat and just take a couple deep breaths for me, for yourself. And then just go back to a normal breathing style. Don't try to change anything about it. When you feel ready, you can press pause on this video and do your little journal prompts. Get a little thoughtful about it. Otherwise, I'm going to get into reflecting what I have written for day 1 of the field guide. Okay, so the first question was, when do I feel most connected to wonder, beauty, or aliveness? I want you to be able to interpret these however, whatever way you're going to interpret it. But what I wrote is, I feel most connected to wonder, beauty, and aliveness when I'm in nature, when I'm learning something new, and when I'm off screens, when I'm off my phone, and when I'm implementing healthy habits. So I'm eating healthy, I'm drinking lots of water, taking care of my body, exercising, moving, that kind of stuff. And I say nature because you can come out into nature and just, like, one of my favorite things is to just watch bugs. Find little bugs, watch them, look at tree bark, look at plants, get curious, like how a child would walk through the woods for the first time. I'm always seeing new things. In fact, there's a pond that we have, or a pond, standing water, and there's some mosquito larvae in it, and there's this huge bug. I've never seen it before. And then I put a stick. It's a huge bug. It has like little pinchers. It looks like some kind of cockroach thing, but it lives in the water, like swims around. And I put a little stick in there, and it literally grabbed the stick. I was like, oh my gosh. Freaked me out. But also I was like, wow, that was crazy. It like grabbed this big stick out of my hand. And I had never seen that thing before. I don't even know what it is. If you know, tell me. And then the second question is, what distractions or pressures pull me away from presence? And this is something that's really good to focus on, because I think a lot of us can understand the concept of people pleasing. I've gotten way better at it throughout the years. If I'm having the feeling that I need to be doing something, like money, things like that, like feeling like, oh, like anxious about, oh, I'm not living the way that I live a very unique life. And the funny thing is I've fought with my lifestyle versus how I was grown up, how my parents are. I spent a lot of time kind of reverting back to that and feeling like I'm doing something wrong. But living a life of minimalism, of experiencing rarities, I'm really grateful for that. And if I fall back into the feeling of people pleasing, if I need to be doing something, or if I haven't done my ritual of the day, my practice, and instead I go help my friend with something that day that I wasn't really actually prepared for or ready for, that's when I usually get distracted. It pulls me away from presence. And I also think a really obvious one is our phone, TV, sugar, drugs, alcohol, these kinds of things. They can distract you, especially if it's not intentional. If you're not using the screens to learn, if you're just mindlessly watching cartoons and sitting around eating junk food. I don't know, just an example. That is a huge distraction. And then you'll find when you start trying not to distract yourself, it's really funny, the things that come up that your mind tries to distract you. You try to distract yourself from the things that you actually wanted to do. And then later you're like, man, I wanted to make art. Why was I cleaning the house all day? The third question is, what is one small way I can invite more curiosity, softness, or awe into today? For me, I wrote that if I take a walk alone in silence, that could be really beneficial and bring a little bit more curiosity, more softness, more awe. Um, Especially, I will even take short peace walks throughout the day, even if it's a busy day. Like, I live on a family compound where there's always projects and things going on, but if I take a moment and say, hey, I need to go on a peace walk, and I will walk for 5-10 minutes and then come back, and I feel refreshed. I took time for myself. I was able to sit in my own thoughts without the influence of other outside things, and that that brings me into more softness. That loosens my shoulders a little bit. I think another thing that just came up, I didn't write this down, but something that just came up as you're doing things. Let's say you do need to go to work. You do need to do these things, but you can invite more softness in, more awe in, just by taking a breath and understanding that you actually aren't in survival mode. You're not being chased by a tiger, and you can actually do things a lot smoother. That's another thing that goes into the whole movement practice, intuitive movement practice, is that you can use that throughout your day. I dance throughout the day when I am on top of doing my little dance, movement, yoga, whatever it is. Like, I will stop and realize, whoa, I'm really tense in my shoulders right now. Wow, I'm clenching my jaw. Do I need to be doing that right now? Probably not. You are not being chased by a tiger. You are a human being living in this 3D world, and you can totally control the energy that you wish to have around you. And take a deep breath, loosen your shoulders, unclench your jaw, drink some water, move a little bit slower. I know that can be hard, but we're always practicing, and we're all just walking each other home. So, this is the end of day 1 of the Fae Movement Field Guide, and I'll see you next time. You can follow me on Instagram at the Fae Movement. I also have a main Instagram that is Forest Fae Feather, and I also have a crafting Instagram that I have not been using as much, but that one's Elements of Taurus. I make clothes, paint things, stuff like that. It's fun. If you want to share anything with me, please comment down below, or you can totally DM me on Instagram. And I would love to hear from you guys. I would love to hear if you wanted to share your field notes with me and what came up for you and how you might be utilizing these tools or these things that I'm offering. Thank you.